Time now to talk sport with Daniela in Tilly. Danny, the Australian cycling summer, it's heating up, isn't it?
Yeah, first big race of the year that we have here with the Tour Down Under in South Australia. Australian cyclist Caleb Ewan has sprinted to victory in the Tour Down Under street race in Adelaide. The win, his third men's classic in a row. In the women's event, Ali Wollaston of the New Zealand national team claimed her first victory. Former Olympian and world champion and host of the Wheelhouse Cycling podcast, Kate Bates, joins me. Kate, good morning. A long-awaited return to cycling in Adelaide.
Yeah, good morning, Danny, and I can report that thankfully the temperature has cooled down a bit. It has been blistering over here, a pretty tough time for the athletes. It's the first time in 3 years. It's been on a bit of hiatus, but honestly, in many ways, it's like nothing has changed. Familiar sights, familiar sounds, including the earworm of a theme song, Feel the Rush. I won't give you a rendition, it's too early on a Sunday morning, and a lot of familiar faces too. It's just great to be back.
Please entertain me with the rendition a bit later if we have time. But meanwhile, Caleb doing what he does best with an epic sprint finish.
Yeah, look, Caleb Ewan is just absolute magic. And I can tell you, not only when he crossed the line, but at the presentation afterwards, they went bananas. The fans absolutely love him, and it's so good to see him back. It's a bit different this year though, Danny, because he is wearing the national team colours. It's so unusual to see a rider like Caleb Ewan racing in the national team colours in the World Tour, but his professional team, Lotto Destiny, they got relegated out of World Tour down to Pro Tour, which means that they can actually pick and choose their calendar a little bit more. I think that they knew they'd have the safety net of the national team for Caleb, so he did still take that victory. And we reckon that there might be more to come for him this week. And again, it's so good to see him doing it in the green and gold.
Yeah, touching on what you've just said, he's an 11-time Grand Tour stage winner, racing now for the Australian national team because the factory team lost its World Tour status. What impact will this have on the future for Caleb?
Well, for this year, it doesn't have a huge impact, Danny, because as the highest ranked Pro Tour team, they still get all the same things that the World Tour get. But it does mean that next year, it could mean that they don't get invites to races like this or to Grand Tours like the Tour de France or the Giro d'Italia. So we're really hoping that the points that riders like Caleb Ewan earn at races like this mean that they will stay at the top of that Pro Tour list. But it's a big risk, and I reckon they're a little bit nervous.
Just quickly before we go, what's on for today?
Well, the women's start today, and it's the first time a World Tour women's race has ever been held in Australia, so we're really excited. The big fan favourite and overwhelming look to win the overall is Amanda Spratt. She's won here 3 times before, backed up by Brodie Chapman, the newly crowned Australian champion. But we do have a bit of international competition. Clara Caponi for FDJ is probably the biggest one, and Krista Doble-Highcock in from America with EF Education. It's going to be a lot of action, Danny, and I can tell you what, they're very happy that it's not the blistering heat today, but we can expect that in the next few days, and I reckon the Aussies have a bit of an advantage with that too.
Kate Bates, thank you for your time and your terrific insights as always.
Thanks, Danny, and no time for a rendition, sadly.
Don't worry, I'll remember.
That's a shame.
Yeah,
no,
I'll get her back. I'll get her back.
Danny,
Thank you so
thanks
much,
very
Danny.
much.